which is essential because humans are critical to maintain and upgrade the station and to perform the sophisticated hands-on research and technology demonstrations for deep space exploration that can't be done here on Earth. Throughout more than 25 years of continuous human presence, we've carried out thousands of science investigations from more than 110 countries, driving breakthroughs in human health and biological and physical sciences. And it serves as our proving ground for how we are going to live, work, and thrive in space. The space station is a gold standard of laboratories and partnerships, and our work in microgravity will continue to advance our scientific knowledge, deliver direct benefits to humanity, and equip us to send humans on long-duration missions to the moon and Mars. As President Trump recognizes the Artemis II crew, I want those of you who were part of this mission to know that it is your dedication, your passion, and your drive that helped make all of this possible. The Artemis II took on the risk on behalf of humanity to help set our accomplishments at the moon in motion. And their achievements are possible only because of the unwavering commitment and talent of our workforce. The crew will be the first to tell you that they stood on the shoulders of thousands. Every milestone achieved during that mission was built during the late nights, the rigorous testing, and the meticulous engineering carried out by many of you. And as we look ahead to our next missions, we are pushing the boundaries of what is possible and ushering in a golden age of space exploration. And I could not be any prouder of this team as we carry that forward. Thank you.
to go to the moon.
One small step for man.
If we look back at the Apollo missions and all of the scientific data that were obtained during those missions,
There is pouring soil. And it is.
we learned so much, not only about the moon, but also about the Earth and the entire solar system.
We've only barely scratched the surface in terms of the amount of area we've explored on the moon.
We leave as we came, and God willing, as we shall return.
America has always been a frontier nation. Now we must embrace the next frontier. I am asking Congress to fully fund the Artemis program to ensure that the next man and the first woman on the moon will be American astronauts, using this as a launching pad to ensure that America is the first nation to plant its flag on Mars.
Artemis represents the future in space. It is our next big step, and it is time to take it.
By unlocking the mysteries of the universe, we unlock truths within ourselves.
At this time, we invite you to rise if you are able, and veterans and active duty military may render a salute as we honor America with our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner get away? O'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
From low Earth orbit to the moon and beyond, these explorers represent the United States' future into the cosmos. Please welcome your NASA Astronaut Corps.
Our return to the moon will be different than the last time. Our return to the moon will be different than the last.
The Space Launch System is now counting down to liftoff of Orion on its maiden voyage to the moon. And here we go. Hydrogen burn-off igniters initiated. 7, 6, 5, 4, First stage engine start. 3, 2, 1. Boosters ignition. And liftoff of Artemis 1. We rise together back to the moon and beyond.
We are all part of something incredibly special, the first launch of Artemis.
This view of Earth from a human-rated spacecraft not seen since 1972 during the final Apollo missions.
Distant retrograde orbit. We're going to be about 38,000 miles away from the lunar surface. We're going beyond anywhere we ever went for Apollo.
The Orion spacecraft is barreling its way back home after circumnavigating the moon and beyond in an elliptical distant retrograde orbit. Splashdown. Orion back on Earth.
Our next guest is one of only 12 humans to have ever walked on the surface of the moon. Please welcome Apollo 17 astronaut, lunar module pilot, and former United States Senator, Dr. Harrison Schmitt.
I'm not as tall as I used to be. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a great honor and privilege for me and my wife Teresa to be with you for this extraordinary event. The honor of the Artemis II crew. I have a bit of a tradition, which I'm going to take advantage of, that whenever I have a chance to make a presentation, I toss a few soft lunar balls out into the audience. Hello, get it? There you go. Oh, we're going to need some training out there. Ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed a great honor to be with you today. The Artemis II crew has just done an outstanding job of beginning the process that we went through almost 60 years ago now in order to land on the moon and go further than that. As did those before us in the Apollo program and subsequently. We just rode the tip of the spear that was held by hundreds of thousands of Americans and indeed by their families. They jointly made Apollo 17 the most productive lunar exploration mission that we have ever had, soon to be surpassed, right guys? Soon to be surpassed by Artemis. Now, I'd like to have those of you in the audience to raise their hands, and that should be just about everybody, who's either themselves or their families participated in Apollo. And that doesn't include the taxpayers, of course. It really was a remarkable time.
Apollo 17's success, as the success of all the other missions, was owed to the patriotic dedication, the courage, the competence of young men and women who designed and built and managed and trained and planned each of the Mercury, Gemini, and Apollo missions. It was an extraordinary privilege for me to be part of that, almost through most of Apollo, certainly the latter portions of it. Now, I'm often asked what it was like to stand on the moon for the first time, and what caught my attention was this valley we landed in. And I only hope that the astronauts behind me will soon surpass the view that I had of a valley deeper than the Grand Canyon. The mountains on the north went 5,000 feet plus above us, above the floor. The mountain on the south, the so-called South Massif, was 7,000 feet plus above the valley floor. And these mountains were brilliantly illuminated by a sun as bright as any New Mexico, Texas, or Arizona sun that you can imagine. But they were set against a blacker than black sky. Just an unbelievable view. And you simulate all of this while you remember that everything you're doing is costing the taxpayer $1 million a minute. And that was in those year dollars. You can do the math. Right, Senator? The Earth that you have a view of, and have seen several on these magnificent videos that have been prepared. The Earth is, when you're in the valley of Taurus Littrow, is hanging over that South Massif that I mentioned. And of course, every once in a while you have a chance to glance up and look at home. It's only 250,000 miles away. What the heck? But you know that there are thousands of people taking care of you, so you don't worry. I didn't worry about that. That was just no thought at all about worrying about any risk or anything like that that might exist. You try not to do stupid things, but nevertheless, no worry. Kids particularly ask me what walking around in 1/6 gravity is like. Well, if you've ever been on a trampoline, it's like walking on an infinite trampoline, one that never ends. And I've been blessed in my life, and one of the blessings was to spend time in Norway as a Fulbright student. And I learned to cross-country ski while I was there. And that turned out to be a great technique, folks, for walking on the moon. If you want to go any distance or any rate, just practice your cross-country skiing. Now, the temperature that we were dealing with varied basically over about 300 to 400 degrees, depending Fahrenheit or centigrade or Fahrenheit, depending how you do it. And of course, anything the sun was illuminating in the absence of any atmosphere got very hot, including your suit. Now, we had great cooling. We had water-cooled underwear, by the way, in case you've forgotten. And anything that's in the shade gets very cold. It's exposed to 4 degrees Kelvin, which is the space temperature. And maybe increasingly through my activities, continued activities as a researcher, you're sampling evidence of creation. That's what exploration of the moon and of the Earth, and eventually the rest of the solar system is all about. We are sampling creation. God is on our side, folks. In this infinitely complex movement of freedom into the solar system, and I'm absolutely convinced he wants us to go farther. Now, he's also on our side as well as the infinitely equally complex challenge we have in the preservation of freedom here on this planet. And I'm sure Artemis will continue to do what is required and will make God proud of these critical endeavors. And I want to, in advance of his appearance, thank President Trump for the fantastic support that he has given to space exploration and settlement. God bless the United States of America. And it is now my pleasure to introduce Colonel Matt Anderson, the Deputy Administrator of NASA. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow, this is incredible. How about that guy, huh? What a legend. We have a bunch of friends of NASA here this morning and a bunch of patriots as well. Thank you all for coming. Director Kratsios, Director Vogt, Director Hassett, Special Assistant Donahoe, Assistant Secretary Coleman, Deputy Secretary Danley, Chairman Cruz, Chairman Babin, Representative Elzy, Lieutenant Governor Patrick, Dr. Bonin, Representative Paul, Ambassador Fertitta, Dr. Pyebuff, our astronauts, distinguished guests, welcome to Johnson Space Center. What a morning. As the chairman said, it's a good day to be in the great state of Texas. Yeah, let's do it. For more than 60 years, this center has served as the heart of human spaceflight. The patriots who work here keep America first in space. And I'd like to start by giving them, and frankly, all of our NASA rock stars around the world, a warm round of applause if you join me. Just up the road here at Mission Control, Capcom Charlie Duke was the first to hear Neil Armstrong tell the world that he had taken one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. And in that same room, we heard Apollo 17 Commander Gene Cernan, the last man on the moon, for now, challenge future generations to forge our destiny of tomorrow with peace and hope for all mankind. But long before the brave American moonwalkers of Apollo changed the world, they took their first steps here in the Space Vehicle Mock-Up Facility. They then handed the baton to the Space Shuttle crews, who pioneered our presence in low Earth orbit and helped build the International Space Station. Earlier this year, the Artemis II crew added their names to that history. They carried humanity around the world, around the moon for the first time in more than 50 years, demonstrated that America is ready to return and pave the way for those who will follow. In this mock-up of the Orion spacecraft, Reed, Victor, Christina, and Jeremy spent countless hours learning how to live and work inside a spacecraft roughly the size of 2 minivans. Because when you are that far from home, you don't get the luxury to call time out. You rely on your preparation, your crew, and your training. That is what human spaceflight demands. Years of training, sacrifice, trust in your crew, trust in the spacecraft, trust in the team behind you. And ultimately, the courage to strap into a rocket, leave this planet behind, and carry out the mission. It's the same courage and dedication we are calling on every astronaut to bring to the missions ahead. Because we need it, now more than ever. The second space race has begun. And right now, America is on a shot clock. Our national security, the prestige of our nation, and the dreams of millions of Americans are riding on our ability to get the job done. This is an extraordinary responsibility, but it's also an opportunity. The next generation is watching. They're going to remember the men and women who return America to the moon, build an enduring presence, and open the door to Mars. But none of this would be possible without strong leadership from the top. President Trump ignited the golden age of exploration and discovery. He gave us the vision. His Working Families Tax Cut Act gave us the resources. And the Artemis II crew took the first steps. For their courage and service, today the President will present this crew with the Congressional Space Medal of Honor. But before I bring them out, we'd like to give you a recap of what it took to earn this honor.
This mission is an opportunity for our generation. It's about human history. It's the story of humanity.
Artemis II is the opening act. We're going to send them farther into space than any humans have gone before.
The question isn't go or not go. It's are you going to lead or are you going to follow?
We are going for our families. We are going for our teammates.
We are going for all humanity.
The Artemis II crew is go for launch. Full set.
Let's go.
3, 2, 1. Booster ignition. And liftoff. The crew of Artemis II now bound for the moon. Humanity's next great voyage begins.
Our greatest chapters are yet to be written. Go Artemis II!
This is a test flight, and so every single system aboard Orion is getting tested by humans for the first time.
Our science team helped us out with a couple of craters on the moon that have not been previously named. A number of years ago, we started this journey in our close-knit astronaut family, and we lost a loved one. There's a feature in a really neat place on the moon, and we would like to call it Carol.
We do not leave Earth. We choose it. We will always choose each other.
We love you from the moon.
Absolutely unbelievable.
We just went sci-fi. It just looks unreal.
If you can't take love to the stars, then what are we doing? That's why we send humans, is that we can share that experience.
Kathy Moonjoy.
We caught a view of Earth, and now we're completely distracted for a little bit.
We look like we're smiling at you, like a little Cheshire cat.
We all just had that weird vibe of backing up and we were getting sad.
Oh, we feel it too, but we'll be happy to have you back.
And there go the first series of parachutes. And we're on droves. Main chute deployed. Splashdown confirmed at 7:07 p.m. Central Time. A new chapter of the exploration of our celestial neighbor is complete.
Welcome home.
Integrity's astronauts back on Earth.
We took your hearts with us, and your hearts lifted our hearts.
The golden age of exploration has begun, and we are just getting started.
America, ladies and gentlemen, it is my privilege to bring to the stage Mission Commander Reed Wiseman, Pilot Victor Glover, Mission Specialist Christina Cook, and Mission Specialist Jeremy Hansen. Give it up for your crew of Artemis II.
The moon, to me, it's the thing that connects me together with all the other humans in my life. I remember being a little kid lying in bed at night and just looking out at the moon in whatever phase it was in, and I was thinking, man, my friends that live like 20 miles away, they can probably look out and see that same exact moon. And then when I was in the Navy and I would look out at the moon and I'd be halfway around the planet, I would think, man, my brother can see that moon where he is and he's halfway around the planet from where I am. To me, it's a connection of life on Earth. We can all look up and see that moon, and it's always changing. The moon is never the same 2 days in a row. I love that. My name is Reed Wiseman. I'm the commander of NASA's Artemis II mission around the moon. I grew up in a little town just north of Baltimore, Maryland, about 20 miles north of the city. There was a National Guard base nearby my house, and there were A-10 aircraft that would fly over every now and then. I just would look up at them and be like, man, I want to be up there. I want to go do that. And then my brother went to the Naval Academy, and I would go every year and watch the Blue Angels fly to go do that. And then my brother went to the Naval Academy, and I would go every year and watch the Blue Angels fly during commencement. And that just started to grow and grow and grow. For a while, I wanted to join the Air Force, and then I realized Navy flies as well, and they fly from ships in the middle of the ocean. And that was it, like, done deal for me. That is exactly what I wanted to do for my career. Flying is freedom to me, especially when you're in a jet aircraft coming off of an aircraft carrier in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. Nearest land is over 1,500 miles away. So when you come off of that aircraft carrier, you are truly just alone with yourself out there. It is a magical experience to be out there all by yourself in an aircraft over the Pacific. It's free. I think anybody who accomplishes something that they set their mind out to, there's no one thing that does it for them. It's a combination of everything. I mean, the way my parents raised me, the way my brother and I, the way our relationship developed over time, my friends, being in the marching band, going to college, setting my own course, learning how to live on my own, being mentored along the way, being, kept on the path to success, but being given the freedom to, make excursions and fail every now and then and regroup and carry on. I think all those things come together in the end to get you where you are. I've had to overcome, I'm a human being. I've had to overcome a lot of fears. I'm pretty scared of heights. I joked about that on the International Space Station, but it turns out I'm only scared like at the edge of a building. When you're up on the International Space Station, even though you're 250 miles up, I never had that feeling of falling or that I was, at risk up there. I just kind of loved the feeling of floating and looking down at Earth. There have been challenges all throughout my life. By far, the biggest challenge was losing my wife in 2020 to cancer and now raising two daughters who are grown up now, but that's been the biggest challenge by far I've ever had to face. It is not easy. Being an only parent, trying to work a full-time job, and raising two kids is something that I think about every single day. I'm very proud of the work I've done. I haven't always done it well, but I've always shown up and tried as hard as I possibly can.
I do wonder what it's going to be like when we are really far from Earth and can see it. The sensation of being so far away from everything that you know. I had that sensation on the space station the first time I got to sit in the cupola for a really long time. So I can only imagine what that's going to be like from 200,000 plus miles away. My name is Victor Glover, and I'm the pilot for NASA's Artemis II mission around the moon. When I was in 4th grade, I was 10 years old, and that's when the Challenger accident happened. And it helped me understand how the general public felt about the astronaut corps, right? Like, these are the people that we want to be. And that just gave me an easy thing to strive toward. The biggest fear that I've had to overcome in my life is doubting myself. Going to college when no one in my family had gone to college was a huge risk. I had more confidence in my athletic ability than in my academic abilities. I could play football with those college students that I saw on TV. But my classmates that I saw in the lab and around the University Union, I didn't know if I had what they had. I think addressing that self-doubt was a part of, swinging for the fence and trying to go get an engineering degree, not just go to college, but get an engineering degree and then go do something challenging and technical like flying. Apollo is known for sending humans to the moon. Artemis has an opportunity to continue the Apollo story, but I actually think it's important for this story to stand on its own. Artemis is a new program, and we're trying to do new things. And it's great to compare and contrast. When you look at our spaceship, you can see parts that were designed, built, and integrated in another country. When you look at our crew, you see that our crew is international. There are also men and women. And I just think that comparing and contrasting makes the story even richer. The piloting role specifically, I will have an hour and a half or so where I get to fly the spacecraft by hand. We haven't flown that many spaceships. And so the ability to fly one actually in space on a test mission is just a really unique opportunity. I can't tell you how I'm going to feel when we fly by the moon and see the moon up close and the Earth from 250,000 miles away, but I don't use the word excited because I'm focused. What we do, this is very serious and it's very risky, and we are all intimately familiar with that risk. And so if we go out there and we're successful and we can pass that baton on to Artemis III, that's something to really be excited about.
I tell a story, which is one that my dad told me before the Apollo missions when he was just a very little boy. He was looking up at the moon with his mom, and his mom said to him, "Don't worry, Ronnie, we'll never get there." Fast forward maybe 70 years later, it's his daughter that's actually going there. And I think that long arc is something that we can all learn from. The idea that the seemingly impossible becomes possible if you just believe in it and are willing to work hard and come together to achieve it. My name is Christina Cook, and I'm a mission specialist for NASA's Artemis II mission around the moon. When I look back at my dreams as a kid, I definitely never thought I would actually get here. I was very pragmatic. Even though I'm a dreamer, I knew that the odds were way against me again, so I might as well do something I'm loving in the meantime. I definitely loved science and math in school and, did pretty well in those things, but I also loved being active. I was always outside. I loved things that made me feel small. I loved looking at the night sky, oftentimes between the pine tree branches, or I loved the ocean. North Carolina also has mountains, and when we would go there, I just loved the vastness of all of those things. I loved how they made me feel and what they made me think about, and the vastness of the universe and how much out there was to learn. I'm drawn to exploring. I'm drawn to challenges that involve both mental and physical, and I'd much rather be solving problems wearing a whole lot of equipment and in a harsh environment, and that's just something I've carried with me ever since I was a kid. Thinking about the fears or challenges that I've had to overcome, there are just so many. I mean, basically, that has been the journey. I always say to people, do what scares you, and that means I have to follow my own advice. So doing what scares me meant getting on a plane and going to the Antarctic, getting on a plane and going to study abroad in Ghana, applying to become an astronaut, opening the EVA hatch in the airlock and going out of it into the darkness, strapping myself onto a rocket. And so for me, I think that no matter what the challenge, recognizing that if people believe in you and you believe they believe in you, the challenges seem always a little bit easier. To me, the moon, it represents history. It is a witness plate. Everything that's ever happened to the moon is still written on the moon. Every single person has looked at the moon their entire lives. We see the same moon. That's something really special. It's just the epitome of a symbol of something that's in each of our hearts, but that's also represents exploration and reaching.
I have this very distinct memory of seeing an image of an astronaut standing on the moon. It's burnt in my brain because I went back to it so many times in my childhood, and I would look at that image, and I know it had a huge impact on me that humans had walked on the moon. My name is Colonel Jeremy Hansen. I'm an astronaut with the Canadian Space Agency, and I'm a mission specialist on NASA's Artemis II mission around the moon. My elementary school years, I grew up on a farm outside of London, Ontario. I spent as much time as I could with my dad on the farm. I learned the value of hard work, for example. If I wanted to go to work with Dad, it was going to be a long day, and I was going to have to not complain, or I wasn't going to get to go the next day. I had a treehouse. I had a vivid imagination, and I changed my treehouse into a spaceship. I made all these dials and controls. I had circuit breakers for switches that I found in the barn, and I was exploring space in my imagination. The most important thing I did to get to where I wanted to go in life, which was flying fighter jets and eventually becoming an astronaut, is I shared those desires with other people. And it turns out, just like you don't go to the moon on your own, if you could, I would have done it a long time ago in my treehouse as a kid, you have to go as a team. I think the biggest impediment to achieving my goals was, of course, myself. And I think that's a common human experience. There are many times where just little things would get in my way, and my immediate interpretation of that was, well, now that goal's out the window. You know, people must have lifted me back up, and somewhere in the back of my head, that persistence came through. And I think that's a common human experience, to doubt ourselves. I've come to this, I guess, realization that I believe that we all have gifts to contribute, and the goal is to figure out how to use your energy towards adding positively to humanity's existence on this planet. But I love it when humanity sets big goals, like sending humans to the surface of the moon with an eye to eventually going to Mars, because when we do that, we can bring together genius from not just even in one country, but around the world. I've also learned from my indigenous mentors that they refer to the moon as Grandmother Moon. So you've probably heard of Mother Earth. They use Grandmother Moon because Grandmother Moon is responsible for the water in their community, just like the moon moves the water around the planet, affects the tides. And I think that's a really beautiful thing for us as we go back to the moon, to think about all the different cultures around the world and how they view the moon differently. And that's really neat because we all share that same moon in the night sky.
This is drawing on the playbook of success from the 1960s. We're bringing it back. This is how you do the near impossible. We're learning and building up to doing something extremely hard.
A permanent human presence on the moon may sound like science fiction, but it's already taking shape. The ideas are becoming hardware, the plans are becoming missions, the future is happening now.
Being able to see moon-based elements getting to the finish line is just awesome.
We're taking you behind the scenes to show you how.
People are looking up again, believing in big things again. America is returning to the moon to build a moon base.
We're going to need to achieve the near impossible.
NASA is building a moon base, a place where astronauts will live, work, and conduct science on and around the moon. Now, building a moon base won't happen all at once. It will take more than 20 lunar landings during the first phase, with each mission delivering the equipment, technology, and science needed to build, learn, and improve. We're traveling across the country to meet the companies building lunar landers for upcoming flights and see how they're preparing for their next missions to the moon. Just north of Austin, Texas, Firefly Aerospace is preparing for its second mission to the moon. NASA's Carlos Garcia Galan is taking us inside its headquarters, where engineers are preparing the lunar lander for its upcoming mission.
Love to see the hardware ready for moon-based mission, Blue Ghost 2. So tell us a little bit about what we're looking at.
Yeah, so what we're looking at right here is, like you mentioned, our Blue Ghost Mission 2 lunar lander. The lander is now stacked. It's starting to really look like a lander, and we're getting ready to install our electronics and all our payloads. Blue Ghost Mission 2, the lander, is going to the far side of the moon. And that is really driven by one of the payloads that will sit on the top deck of the lander. It's called Lucy Knight. So that's a radio astronomy telescope. So they want to sit on the far side of the moon, away from all the noise from Earth, so the moon's kind of blocking all of that, and they're looking back at the cosmic dark ages. So that's a very amazing payload, yeah. We will also have another payload that we will have put into orbit. So it'll be in an orbit around the moon, so that's Lunar Pathfinder. We have a rover on board.
Super exciting.
Yeah, so that'll be our first mobility payload that we have. So all of those are coming along with us. They're each going to gather science, technology data, and it can all be used on future missions. A lot of the people that worked on mission 1 are still here working on mission 2, so we have all that knowledge still in-house. And then you're implementing all the lessons learned because we have all that great data from Blue Ghost mission 1. So it does feel easier, so it feels like the wheel is starting to really turn a lot faster, and then we've got these other moon-based awards, so it's really about, can you make it repeatable, can you produce it?
Yeah, can you be successful several times? Is the excitement building up?
Oh yeah.
I mean, you're getting pretty close.
Yeah, I think anytime that you have something in the clean room where it's like, you look at it and you know, like, that's my lander, that's going to the moon. It's also humbling. It's like, hey, we did it one time, but now we need to do it 2, 3, 4. We need to keep doing it and keep upping the bar and getting better each time.
Over on the West Coast, NASA's Ryan Steffen is at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory in California, where Voyager Lunar Systems Griffin 1 lander has arrived for environmental testing.
This larger lander is an infrastructure class lander. It's not just meant for scientific payloads and instrumentation, but also it's made to basically take equipment in infrastructure level capability and deliver that to the lunar surface. It's also landing in the South Pole, where the terrain is a little bit harsher, it's a little bit more dangerous to land. It requires precision navigation, guidance, and control to land in safe locations. This lander will be taking a total of 10 payloads, the largest of which, the Astrolab Flip rover, is the largest commercial payload to ever be delivered to the lunar South Pole.
So we're thousands of miles away from where you guys assembled the spacecraft. Why did you decide to bring this out to Southern California?
Jet Propulsion Laboratory has some of the best, most capable environmental testing facilities in the world, and for a lunar lander this size, really what we want to do is test the spacecraft, put it through its paces. Right now, Griffin is fixtured on top of the mass properties fixture, which is the black thing you see in front of it. Basically, we are testing to measure the mass of the vehicle, the total mass, the center of gravity, the moment of inertia, so that we know the exact configuration of the flight vehicle. When we get back, we will finish reviewing a lot of the test data that we've done here, correlating to our models and our pre-test predictions, modifying those based on the feedback that we've got during this testing, and potentially addressing any findings on the ground here while we have the chance before we launch later this year. It'll be exciting.
On the East Coast, NASA's Courtney Beglin is at Blue Origin's testing facility in Cape Canaveral, Florida, to see the latest on the Blue Moon Mark 1 lander.
Mark 1 serial number 1 is designed to prove out the core technologies for Blue Origin that we will eventually apply to the human landing missions of Artemis. So it's our liquid oxygen, liquid hydrogen systems, it's our precision landing capabilities, it's also our ability to offload large amounts of cargo.
I see a lot of people working on this lander. Can you tell us what is left for this lander in order to make it fly?
We just completed our thermal vacuum testing at Johnson Space Center in January and February of this year. We then brought the vehicle back. We did a number of tests. We first tested our RF compatibility with the TDRS satellite system, as well as a deep space network. We also have tested how our vehicle reacts during stage separation from the New Glenn vehicle. We've tested the acoustic environment, and soon we'll be testing our cryogenic propellant system. We've just completed our fit checks of our BE-7 main engine, the actual engine that will fly to the moon. That went perfectly. And so we're now closing up these tests, and we'll be ready for New Glenn. As you know, we had the mishap at the pad with New Glenn. The team there is making phenomenal progress. We are working to have serial number 1 ready and stored in a quiescent state for when New Glenn is ready. We expect that launch to occur in Q1 of 2027. And once that's complete, we'll now continue on to serial numbers 2, 3, and 4. We're also carrying NASA payloads, the SCALPS payload, which will allow us to visualize what the exhaust from our BE-7 engine is doing to the surface of the moon, so that will feed forward to heavier landers in the future. We also carry a retroreflector from NASA on this mission. NASA's been a phenomenal partner to us. They've been working hand in hand with us, and that's what's going to allow these 4 serial numbers to come off the assembly line as quickly as they are.
In Houston, NASA's Adam Schlesinger is at Intuitive Machines headquarters getting an up-close look at how the Nova-C lander is being prepared for its third mission to the moon.
So this spacecraft is our Nova-C. This is our IM-3 vehicle. As you can see, up on the top is the methane tank. The oxygen tank is below. The engine actually sits right here underneath. This is the engine deck. You can see that we've just put the top deck onto this spacecraft. So we're excited. Within the next month, we're going to be putting the engine in, and we'll be taking it outside for a hot fire test to confirm that the engine is ready to go for launch.
Great. And after that test, what's the path look like to get to launch?
We bring it back inside here. The payloads sit on panels that go on the outside of this spacecraft. So we bring those panels in, we do integrated testing, and then we do some vibration testing. We send it down to the Cape, and we get ready for launch. This vehicle will have 5 NASA payloads looking at the magnetic anomaly that's at Reiner Gamma on the near side of the moon. So it's a super exciting science mission. We're also doing other science. So we have 6 commercial payloads. We have a payload from the Italian Space Agency, and we have the 5 NASA payloads, doing lots of different types of science.
And this is the third IM Eclipse delivery. Can you talk about some of the lessons learned from the previous 2 and how that's being applied to this one?
Yeah, absolutely. So on IM-1, which was in 2024, and IM-2, which was in 2025, we learned lessons. We learned things about this spacecraft. We learned how it landed and how we could make it better. And so we're integrating all of those lessons learned into this spacecraft and our future spacecraft, IM-3, 4, 5, and 6, which are all on schedule to extend the moon base capability.
These lunar landers will soon deliver the science and technology that will turn the moon base into a reality. But there's even more ahead. The lunar South Pole is one of the harshest environments, with extreme temperatures ranging from minus 334 degrees Fahrenheit to over 130 degrees. This huge swing means the power, communications, and landing systems we build must withstand both intense cold and strong heat. This is no small task, so NASA is teaming up with Northrop Grumman on 3 new technology demonstrations that will be delivered to the lunar surface beginning in Phase 1. The goal is to reuse key power, avionics, and communication systems originally developed for the Gateway program's HALO module. These test missions will give new purpose to existing hardware to help build the infrastructure that Artemis crews and robotic explorers will depend on at the moon base. This is only the beginning. Continue to follow along as we bring you up close and share details about what's on the horizon as we build humanity's moon base together.
When it comes to Mars, everyone thought we were crazy. But sometimes, that's what it takes. We're making science fiction reality, writing the next chapters in the story of Mars exploration. But it doesn't happen overnight. Getting there is never easy.
The first powered flight by an aircraft on another planet.
It takes courage, creativity, resilience. It takes a legacy of daring, mighty things, of failing,
come on, listen, hear me out.
And picking ourselves back up. We've been here before. Decades of success. Building the future isn't for everyone. But for us, it's written in our DNA. We are the architects of the impossible. And on Mars, we've only just begun.
end.
President Trump's administration is all about bringing back the big, bold endeavors that once defined American exceptionalism.
That's one small step for man.
And NASA is very much on board. On November 7th, NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Cape Canaveral, Florida, will kick off Max Power, a two-day event showcasing the best of American innovation in air and space, right here on American soil at the historic shuttle landing facility. Max Power will feature space hardware, NASA and DoW aircraft, interactive mission simulators, moon rovers. You're going to have Apollo astronauts there, Artemis astronauts will be there, behind-the-scenes experiences, one hell of an air show, and maybe even a rocket launch or two. As we honor America's 250th birthday, Max Power will help set the stage for the next 250 years of American engineering greatness. Together with our collaborators, this will be an event remembered for generations. You can head to nasa.gov/maxpower to learn more, and I'll see you on the flight line.
1, booster ignition, and liftoff.
And so with that, the Artemis II crew hands you the baton. You got the controls. There's only one primary goal of Artemis II, is to prepare the spacecraft for Artemis III.
And then we're going to go hand off that baton to Artemis 3 and then cheer them on full-throated.
I hope that people recognize that Artemis II was the stepping stone for something so much greater.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming NASA Administrator Jared Isaacman.
Don't stop believing. Hold on to that feeling. Street light people.
Good morning, everyone. Mr. President, welcome to Johnson Space Center. I am grateful to serve under a president with the vision and determination to ensure American leadership across the great frontier of space. A president with the foresight to see the diplomatic potential and give us the Artemis Accords. We now have 70 nations that have signed. The 71st will sign on Monday. The foresight to see the national security implications and give us the United States Space Force. The foresight to see the scientific, the economic, the inspirational potential and give us Artemis and Moonbase. President Trump knows great nations do great things, and he has given NASA the mandate and the resources to undertake the big, bold endeavors and achieve them. I am so grateful also to Chairman Cruz, Chairman Babin, Director Hassett, Director Kratsios, Director Pulte, and so many others that are also here from Congress for the support and the flexibility to enable the world's greatest space agency to compete in this very real second space race. To the Artemis crew, too, you stand here incredibly deserving of this recognition. Thank you for showing us the moon again, for showing the world your humanity, and for passing your knowledge and the baton to the astronauts who will follow in your very accomplished footsteps. There are no finer humans we could have sent as our ambassadors to the stars. To the NASA workforce representing the absolute best talent across the United States of America, alongside our industry and international partners, you showed the world that when we commit to these hard, these consequential endeavors, there is nothing we are not capable of achieving. And as we take this moment to reflect on what we have accomplished, let us look to where we go from here. Next year, we will launch Artemis III, and what we learn from that mission will enable the grand return in 2028 when Artemis IV brings American astronauts back to the surface of the moon. In parallel, we will launch our robotic landers, our rovers, and begin establishing that enduring presence on the lunar surface, the moon base, because this time we are going back to stay. We are not slowing down, Mr. President. This is an energized NASA, determined to do extraordinary things in and out of the atmosphere. We are rebuilding the X-plane fleet, launching more missions of science and discovery in the years ahead. And, sir, in late 2028, SR-1 Freedom will launch, and America will finally get underway on nuclear power in space. And at that moment, we will be one step closer to that next giant leap you called for during your inauguration speech when American astronauts plant the stars and stripes on Mars. Along the way, we will pursue the secrets of the universe, unlock the economic potential of space, ensure our national security in the ultimate high ground, and inspire the next generation to carry the fire of exploration even further. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here with your Artemis II heroes. This is your National Aeronautics and Space Administration. This is your president, the President of the United States of America, Donald J. Trump.
And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston and New York to LA, where there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say that I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
Thank you very much, and thank you to Jared. He's unbelievable. That man is unbelievable. I want to thank you to the very special, to the men and women of one of the most legendary landmarks anywhere in the world, the Johnson Space Center. Very special place. It's an honor to be here. And it's a place that is a monument to grit and determination and pure American excellence, and produced some of the greatest achievements in human history. And I have no doubt that under this great administrator and all of you people, you're going to have no question it's going to go further than it ever has. I really believe that. Or I made a big mistake in getting it going again because I had to get it going. It was a little bit not going too well. You know that better than I do. We gather here on these storied grounds, though, to celebrate the immense courage and service of 4 intrepid space heroes whose sense of daring and adventure led them further from Earth than anyone has ever traveled before. Incredible. That was an incredible evening. For us, it was evening. A lot of different times all over the world. But for me, it was evening, and everybody stopped. I was at a very important meeting with the biggest people in the country, maybe some of the biggest people in the world, and somebody said, "I'd like to watch Artemis." I said, "You would, really? Right in the middle of our meeting, you want to watch?" And we actually had a television pulled up, and everybody was spellbound. Somehow, maybe it's Jared, but somehow that just caught the imagination, and we watched every minute of it. In fact, the meeting was a disaster because after that was over, they were so excited, nobody did anything. So it was a total waste of time, but what can I tell you? But it really brought spirit. There is a spirit that we didn't see in this space so much, and now you've really brought it back. And today we're proudly awarding the Congressional Space Medal of Honor to the remarkable crew of Artemis II. Please join me in congratulating Commander Reed Weissman, Pilot Victor Glover, Mission Specialist Christina Cook, and Mission Specialist Jeremy Hansen. Great people. Thank you. Congratulations. Then I'm going to be presenting them a little something in a couple of minutes. But these astronauts did not do it alone. I want to salute all of the engineers and scientists, launch and landing specialists, everyone at NASA who helped make this mission a great success. I had an uncle who was a great scientist, a great man. He was at MIT for 41 years, Dr. John Trump, and he loved space. He used to tell me about space, all space. He would throw in the word nuclear every once in a while, but he loves space. So I guess we have genetically, I believe in that stuff. I love it. I find it so interesting, so amazing. It's very special. Thanks to also Associate Administrator, Chief Engineer Amit Shathriya, and that's Artemis II Lead Flight Director Jeff Radigan, Artemis II Landing and Recovery Director Lily Villarreal, and thanks as well to friends of NASA. We have Senator Ted Cruz. Where's Ted? Are you here, Ted? Look at this guy. He's a good man. Stand up, Ted. He is a good man. We've had good moments and bad moments together. And I will tell you, he's good and he's smart and he loves what he's doing right here. This is something special, right, Ted? Also, another great warrior and friend of mine, Brian Babin, representative, congressman, does a fantastic job. Thank you, Brian. And Jake Elzy. Jake, thank you. What a group we have here, huh? Lieutenant Governor, a friend of mine. I mean, I shouldn't get political, so I won't, but I will tell you, from 2015, everyone thinks I ran in 2016. I actually announced in 2015, Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick called up. He said, "I want to be the chairman of your campaign in Texas," and you've never left, right? And we won it in record votes. Nobody came close. And I just want to thank you for that. You were a fantastic chairman. We didn't even have to speak too much. It was sort of Good. And that's what we have to do in a little while in the election coming up. So important. Texas Controller Don Huffines. Congratulations, Don. That was a great win you had. Congratulations. We watched that very closely. Great job. And of course, we're honored to be joined by amazing members of the NASA Astronaut Corps, past and present. They are amazing indeed, and thank you for all you do and risking your lives to advance our voyage into the heavens. It's where you go to the heavens. And I understand this weekend that NASA has a very big launch coming up, the Roman Space Telescope. I was asking Jared, is that a big one? He said, it's really big. So I hope everyone that's watching, look at all the media back there, all the press. I hope you're going to inform people because this is going to be a very big deal. It's hundreds of times more powerful than Hubble, and it will help unlock the secrets of the universe. So to everyone involved here at NASA, good luck this weekend. It's a big deal. And I was given a little briefing. I said, I want to know about this if it's so big. And it really is something hundreds of times more powerful than Hubble. That's all you have to know. From the very beginning, America has always been a frontier nation, and space is the highest of all the frontiers. Our manifest destiny is to explore and settle this great unknown, carry forward the light of American liberty into the stars. And Americans were the first in flight, the first in the moon, and will certainly be the first in space no matter where it is. And I know we're going to be looking at Mars very shortly. In fact, you're already partially there. A lot of work's been done, and that seems to be the next frontier. You'll be stopping on the moon, and you're going to be going to Mars. What excitement, what excitement. Yet when I took office in 2017, America's endeavors in space had come to a complete halt. It was held back by decades of gross mismanagement in Washington. You had Peter, well, maybe they didn't like it. Maybe they didn't like the concept. I don't know, but it was certainly not anything. It was very embarrassing, actually, what had happened. Not only had the United States lost its ability to send our astronauts to the moon, but under a number of administrations, I have to tell you, but in particular the Obama administration, we even lost our ability to send astronauts into orbit at all. We had no ability in space whatsoever. We totally lost it with everything we spent. With all of the talent and all of the genius and all of the money, we had nothing. And when I got here, I came here, I went to Florida, I visited a couple of the places. I wanted to see what was going on. NASA was closed, absolutely closed. There was almost nobody there. It was like an empty building, not a good look. And I went down, I looked at Kennedy Space Center in Florida in particular. I saw something that you rarely see. They had grass growing out of the cracks in the runway. You had a runway that was all broken up. It was all bad. I know all about that from being very good at construction. You had the cracks in the runway. We had grass growing out of the cracks. It's almost hard to do. And I said, boy, this is sad. It was very sad. That's where we started. Yet as the world can see today under the Trump administration, we have brought back America's space program and came out of the dark age, and it's now into the golden age. This is the golden age of America, and this is a big part of it. So to every astronaut here today, I want to make this promise to you. Our nation will conquer, and we will conquer indeed, this vast frontier that we have before us, and we'll reach American courage, and we'll use American genius and daring and all of the things that we have that nobody else can ever compete with. We will explore it, we will tame it, and we will win it. We will always win. In 2016, the United States of America and our government, the private sector launched just 22 rockets into orbit combined. So we did 22. And last year we conducted nearly 200 orbital launches, and that number will continue to grow very, very rapidly. As you probably know, you know every one of them that's getting ready. There are a lot of them. By embracing competition in the private sector, we freed up NASA to focus on what it does best, leading the cutting edge of exploration and human space flight. In my first term, I signed the orders creating the Artemis program, and officially directed NASA to return American astronauts to the moon and then push onward to Mars. And that's exactly what we're doing. And we had a little interlude of 4 years, but somehow it was limping along. It was okay. It was limping along. And now I'm back. And we're doing more than limping. We don't limp. 8 years later, these dreams are really coming through at a level that nobody ever imagined. Nobody imagined what is happening now. And even more importantly, what space has done for our military in terms of offensive and defensive capability is incredible. Don't forget, I was the one that gave you Space Force, and we had no Space Force. And when people heard about it, they thought we were kidding. If they thought it was like comic book stuff, it wasn't at all. It's turning out to be one of our most important branches. It'll be and only getting more important with time. And we were number 3 in space at the time I did that, and now we're leading by a tremendous amount. We made some very good original initial hires. We put some people in charge that were really outstanding, and they did it right from the beginning. On July 4th of this year, I presented a veteran of the last mission to the moon, Apollo 17 astronaut Jack Schmitt, with a very special American flag that flew over the United States Capitol on our nation's 250th birthday. Very, very special flag. And it's here today, right next to me, and Jack is here also. Where's Jack? Where's Jack? Number 1, where's Jack? And number 2, where's the flag? Anybody letting me know? Jack, you look good. I know the flag looks good. Where's the flag? Oh, it's over there. It's hidden behind a lot of rockets. Thank you, Jack. Very good. I was wondering, I'm saying, am I supposed to be introducing a flag that I can't see? It's invisible. Great job, by the way. Great guy. You're still a good-looking guy. You were always a good-looking guy. Now, I think you're better with the white hair, if you want to know the truth. You look better than you did 20 years ago. Before the end of my term, American astronauts will return to the lunar surface, and we're looking forward to that. We'll do it, and we're then going to the next step. And when we do, they'll plant this very important flag to mark the site of the first permanent American settlement on the moon. They're going to have a settlement. They're building a settlement up in the moon. And we're not going to stop there, because under Administrator Isaacman, and I have to tell you, with Jared, everybody wanted him. You know that, Ted? Everybody. I got calls from you, but I got calls from Democrats. Can you believe it? I won't say anything bad about them. I'm not going to change their term or their name. But Democrats, DEM, and they called, and they said he's fantastic, which set him back a lot, because when I got so many calls from Democrats, they said, is that good or bad? But I got a lot of calls from Republicans and Democrats, something that doesn't happen very often. And the people just said he's just the best. There was no competition. There was actually no competition. And I made it, and these turned out to be better than we even thought possible, right? Even better. So we're lucky to have Jared. But NASA has already begun to work on the first ever nuclear-powered interplanetary spacecraft, which will launch in 2028 on a mission to Mars. It's something so incredible. They have to go nuclear because they have essentially unlimited fuel. You don't have to fill up the tanks every so many miles, right? It's incredible. This ship will be among the first of what will ultimately be a massive American Starfleet, making space travel almost as common as ocean travel today and bringing our military to a new level of excellence. Again, so much of this has to do with our military. I don't know if I'd be as enthused about it, but what it's done to our offensive and defensive capability is incredible. So we're doing this, but we're also, when you think of space or when you think of what we're doing here, the military is a very big factor. We're at levels that nobody ever thought would ever happen. And you see how well we fight. We fight very well. We're getting so much of our information from Space Force, as an example. Makes us a much better military. You look at Venezuela, what happened there. One day, actually to be exact, it was 48 minutes. And so much of that information came from space. And all the attacks are, if you look at our blockade, which is incredible, it's so successful, being helped by space, Ted, being helped by space. So who would think? But it's so important, and that's a big component of what you're doing out here. These are ambitious goals, but as I said in my inaugural address last year, ambition is the lifeblood of a truly great nation. If you don't have ambition, you're not going to have a great nation. When Americans are determined, nothing can hold us back. In the end, American dominance in this domain is not a choice. It's an economic and national security necessity. A nation cannot be first on Earth if we're going to be second in space. Just not going to happen. Somehow it just doesn't work that way. It makes sense. I was going to say, does it make sense? Yeah, I guess it does when you think about it, right, Brian? For this reason, in my first term, I created the 6th branch, United States Armed Forces, Space Force. And today I have another historic announcement to make. This is something that's so exciting for me, given the rapid growth of the Space Force and the commercial space industry and the expansion of our ambitions to the moon and far beyond the moon. Far beyond. The moon will someday be thought of a close location, like in the old days, the subway, the first stop. The moon will be a close location. But it's clear that we will need to educate and train an entire generation of skilled service members, engineers, and civil operators, and everything else to do what we have to do and what we're right now doing the best and will continue, and I think by leaps and bounds. And that's why in a few moments I will sign an executive order to begin the process of creating a new national academy. It's called the U.S. Space Academy. That's a big deal. So you think of West Point, and you think of Annapolis, and you think of the Air Force Academy, and you think of the Coast Guard Academies. Great, they're all great. But we're going to have now a Space Force. We're going to have an academy for what the people in this room love the most. That's exciting. That's really exciting. And I'm going to be choosing a location very shortly. I know where some people want it that are in this audience. Some people come down like this one guy over there. He's lobbying me. Say, leave me alone. Just leave me alone. I'm not sure he's going to get it. I don't know if he's going to get it. But everybody wants it because it's the hot thing. Space is the hot thing. Tell you, Ted Cruz and Brian, you guys are there working too, I have to tell you. Just leave me alone, Ted, please. Leave me alone. But it'll serve both the United States Space Force as well as NASA and the civilian spaceflight industry. And it'll attract, train, and graduate the very best of our nation. And our nation really has to offer. And this is going to be, I said, I'll do it, but it's got to be top line. It's got to be the equivalent of the others, which are great. You know, they're among the hardest schools to get into. You know, you talk about the Ivy League schools. It's tougher to get into West Point, Annapolis, the Air Force Academy. Coast Guard, too. You know, we can't forget that. But so tough, all of them, among the hardest schools to get into, and they're great scholars, great everything going to that. You sort of have to have a lot of everything, not a little, but a lot of everything. But I said, this has to be comparable to that. You know, we don't want to do it in any other way. And it's going to be, even architecturally, it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be the top. It's going to be as good as it can get. You know, doing a bad building doesn't cost a lot less than doing a great building. I've always said it. Doing great architecture, doing something really great that's also practical. It doesn't cost much more than doing some of the bad stuff that you see all over the place. But we're going to make this so good and so exciting. But first, we have to honor the heroes who are inspiring the next generation of astronauts and pioneers and the people behind me. These people, I looked at them coming before I came up. I said, that's a good-looking group of people. I don't like speaking with those people behind me, to be honest. They look too good. But they're great people. They're great, great people. But the Congressional Space Medal of Honor, that's exactly what it says. This is a very rare thing. It's for courageous people, brilliant people, bestowed on astronauts who have distinguished themselves with exceptional service to the nation. and all of mankind. Only 30 extraordinary men and women, long period of time too, in the history of our country have received this extremely rare and distinguished honor. Real legends like Neil Armstrong, John Glenn, Alan Shepard, and the immortal heroes of Apollo 1. Today we add 4 new names to this elite roster of fearless explorers. That's really what they are when you think of it, fearless explorers that are very smart. The crew of Artemis II blasted off from Kennedy, NASA's great space center last April and flew more than 250,000 miles from Earth in, very interestingly, our 250th anniversary year. Only Jared could have thought of that, I assume. I hope that wasn't just by luck. I hope they, but it's pretty good. They actually went far beyond what would be the normal target, the furthest anybody's ever been in space. They crossed behind the dark side of the moon and glimpsed sights never seen before, never seen by human eyes, and returned to Earth at 30 times the speed of sound and splashed down in the Pacific Ocean, completing the flawless mission. It was absolutely flawless. Artemis II was led by a Navy veteran, a pilot, a father, and a great patriot, Commander Reed Wiseman. With unfailing strength and calm, Reed led the crew through every phase of the flight and their safe return to Earth. He was a great leader, respected by everybody. As many people will remember, during the mission, the crew named a previously unnamed lunar crater in loving memory of Reed's wonderful wife, who we lost to cancer. So they call it the Carol Crater. So that's making Reed a little weepy right now, because I heard she was an incredible woman. Will never be forgotten now. She'll never be forgotten. We honor her. And truly, the memory is all about the moon. That's a great one. I wish they'd name something like that after me, Reed, but I don't know. I'll have to get the governor's approval. I like that. That's beautiful. So, Reed, we salute you. We salute your family. And we congratulate you. Thank you very much. And today we also honor a distinguished naval aviator with an outstanding record as a test pilot. He served in 24 combat missions for our country before taking on the most dangerous mission of all, Pilot Victor Glover. Victor led guidance, navigation, and control operations with perfect skill and absolute total precision. And you have to have great precision or things will not go well. And he did it with the heart and the faith that brought out the best in this incredible team before the spacecraft passed behind the moon and lost communication. And they did. I was watching. There was absolutely none. I said, what's going on? But they lost total communication with Earth for a fairly extended period of time. Victor turned to prayer and reminded us all of God's love for all of his children. And Victor, thank you very much and congratulations. It's incredible. Great story. We also, thank you. We also recognize mission specialist Christina Cook, who before this flight had already set a world record for the longest continuous flight ever by a woman in space. On Artemis II, Christina led major science and observation tasks, making vital contributions to future missions and the advance of human knowledge. Christina tells young people, do what scares you. It's an interesting statement. I don't know about that, Christina. But that's the attitude that you have to have. You want to do this. And that is the attitude that she has, and I think that everybody standing behind me has, frankly. The further she went, the stronger she got. She was really amazing, they say, on the trip. She was just amazing. So, Christina, thank you very much. We appreciate it. Great job. And finally, we honor a master of science and physics, a fighter pilot, a great one, and a beloved member of the astronaut team, mission specialist, Jeremy Hansen. On Artemis II, Jeremy became the first non-American in history to travel beyond low Earth orbit. He documented lunar terrain while contributing enormously to space science and physics research. And along with Christina, he helped the crew stay healthy and develop standards and best practices. Jeremy, thank you very much. Great job. Great job. So with unmatched bravery and unwavering faith, these four extraordinary astronauts renewed the legacy of the pioneers and explorers who charted the world's oceans, climbed its highest summits, and tamed the American West. Great people, great men and women, incredible. That spirit is written into the soul of our nation, and in the daring deeds of these heroes, we're reminded that for America, no aim is too high, no journey is too far, no challenge is too tough. In this country, we're limited only by the size of our aspirations and the scale of our dreams. We have the American dream, and the American dream is back. I think the American dream is back, stronger than ever before. We're doing great. This country is doing great right now. Never did anything like it. 81 stock market highs in 1.5 years, never been anything like it, including they broke it again yesterday for the 81st time. And $19.2 trillion is being invested in our country from outside countries and interests and people. And we've never seen it. That's why I call it the golden age. It's an exciting time. Tomorrow's going to be very exciting. And today, thanks to the crew of Artemis II, those dreams are closer than ever before. And we're on the cusp of an adventure and something that's so special that people have really not imagined anything. It's really, civilization is into the stars. The stars are up there and they're beautiful, and you're right next to them. You have the courage to be right next to them. Few people do, but you're leading the way. It's great, great bravery. I want to thank again Reed, Victor, Christina, and Jeremy, very special people. And now I will sign the executive order creating the U.S. Space Academy, and then we will do the honors. Thank you very much, everybody. Great honor. Okay. Gotta pick a good one. Pick a good pen. That's a good one. All right. Thank you very much. I think he deserves it, right? Okay. Thank you, Travis. Thank you very much. You'll take that. Take these around. We'll give them out to some of the people. We'll do that. We'll go over here.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President will now present awards to the crew of Artemis II. As mission specialist on Artemis II, Jeremy Hansen demonstrated exceptionally meritorious contributions by executing spacecraft communications, navigation procedures, and pre-launch verification activities, including pressure suit regulator checks and Orion systems configuration. Throughout the lunar flyby sequence, he led and executed detailed observation protocols, capturing and documenting lunar topography, eclipse phenomena, and solar coronal behavior while directing real-time scientific data collection for geology and heliophylix research. He performed manual control assessments and crew health evaluation tasks, including the orthostatic and tolerance garment test, advancing validation of systems and human factors performance essential to future lunar landing operations and long-duration deep space missions. During the mission, he was integral to the crew surpassing the Apollo 13 distance record and reaching approximately 252,760 miles from Earth, farther than any humans in history. As mission specialist on Artemis II, Christina Cook demonstrated exceptionally meritorious service by leading major science and observation tasks during the mission's 7-hour lunar flyby, capturing and documenting impact craters, lava flows, surface fractures, and eclipse phenomena that significantly expanded understanding of lunar geology and solar corona behavior. She configured and oversaw Orion's cabin for flyby operations, including sensor alignment and systems readiness, and executed target Earth-Moon imaging sequences conducted from Orion's optical windows and solar array cameras. Her execution of in-orbit procedures, including participation in the orthostatic and tolerance garment test, evaluating human physiological response during return to Earth's gravity, produced critical data that advanced crew health standards on future deep space missions. During the mission, she was integral to the crew surpassing the Apollo 13 distance record and reaching approximately 252,760 miles from Earth, farther than any humans in history. As pilot of Artemis II, Victor J. Glover distinguished himself through exceptionally meritorious performance by commanding and executing guidance, navigation, and control operations throughout launch, translunar injection, and return phases. He led manual control evaluations during Orion's return trajectory operations, validating spacecraft control modes and confirming the spacecraft's piloting characteristics for future missions. He maintained precise control of spacecraft attitude during lunar observation periods, enabling the crew to capture essential scientific imagery and meet mission-critical documentation objectives. His professional skill was further demonstrated during trajectory correction maneuvers and during final atmospheric entry and splashdown, ensuring the mission's safe completion and advancing deep space operational readiness for upcoming Artemis expeditions. During the mission, he was integral to the crew surpassing the Apollo 13 distance record and reaching approximately 252,760 miles from Earth, farther than any humans in history. As commander of Artemis II, Reed Wiseman exhibited exceptionally meritorious leadership in executing the first crewed lunar mission in more than 50 years, commanding and leading the crew through critical pre-launch validations, including SLS RS-25 engine readiness and Orion spacecraft power-up and suit integrity checks. During the mission, he commanded Orion's outbound trajectory, the successful lunar flyby, and detailed geologic observation operations, ensuring the spacecraft remained on the precise course required for the crew to surpass the Apollo 13 distance record and reach a maximum of approximately 252,760 miles from Earth, farther than any humans in history. Under his command, the crew executed return trajectory correction burns, manual control evaluations, and system verification procedures that culminated in a flawless splashdown and safe recovery, advancing the nation's readiness for future lunar surface missions.
Victor, Christina, Jeremy, what an honor to do this with you three. Mr. President, it means a lot that you are here at the Johnson Space Center. It underscores the important work that is going on here in Mission Control in furthering human exploration, the home of our astronauts, the home of flight operations, and Mission Control. Thank you for coming here today. This is awesome. On April 1st, on the launch pad, when we were getting ready to ride this magnificent rocket, the crew said three things. Victor Glover said, "We are going for our families." Many of you are here today. Thank you so much for supporting us. Christina Cook said, "We're going for our teammates." Mr. President, when we were backstage and we heard you mentioning some of those names of those people who sent us on this mission and brought us back safely, that was warming our hearts. Thank you for honoring those people. And then Jeremy said, "We're going for all humanity." When we went around the far side of the moon, which has now been rounded up to 252,760 miles, we'll take it, keep rounding it up. We got to talk to you. You gave us a call. And the one thing that really sticks out to us is you said how proud you are and how proud our nation is of the job that we had just accomplished. And for us, that is what we set out to do. We wanted to inspire this nation and inspire the world, and for us, that showed us we were on the right track, so thank you for that call. We wear these 4 medals, and we are going to wear them with pride, but please know, it is not pride for ourselves that we feel, and I truly mean that. It is pride for the grit that our families had when we left this planet. It is pride for that team, this NASA team, that sent us on this mission, and it is pride for the international community that stood alongside us, got this vehicle ready, operated it, and cheered us on. So thank you for bestowing this honor on us. And in closing, how cool it is to be an astronaut here in Houston and to see our entire astronaut corps standing here supporting us. And behind me, you have the Artemis III crew, Randy, Luca, Frank, and Dr. Andre Douglas. And we are so excited to see where Artemis III goes and where the rest of this office goes, thanks to your vision and Administrator Isaacson's leadership. Thank you all. I'm going to hand it over to our esteemed pilot, Victor Glover.
So, Mr. President, when we were in your office and you were so gracious to us, lavishing us with gifts and so much of your time, we had mentioned getting you one of these blue flight jackets. And so here we have your jacket today. And you'll notice the NASA, we affectionately call this the NASA meatball. But on the sleeve, you'll see the team that we are a part of in the astronaut office, and that is the Flight Operations Directorate. There's a lot of neat symbology on that patch, and I can explain it to you, or some of the team can later. Underneath that, you have the Artemis II mission patch, which we told you a little bit about, and then you've got 45 and 47 patches, which represent that vision that Reed was talking about earlier. And so we are people of our word, and it is great to be able to give this to you in front of everyone. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
At this time, we encourage you to remain seated and join us as the President of the United States speaks with the crew of Expedition 75 aboard the International Space Station.
And it's a heavy one, now laid on their shoulders, because we go together for all humanity.
NASA has a rich history of test flights, and we do it for a reason. It goes all the way back to Mercury, to Gemini, to Apollo, to Shuttle, STS-1, Station, where the two modules came together, and we put that first crew on. Demo 2 on SpaceX, a lot of work went into that. Starliner for the crew flight test. These are test flights, and they're test flights for a reason, because we're making sure that that vehicle's ready to go from an operational standpoint from that point further. And Artemis is no different.
NASA was established to undertake big, bold endeavors in air and space, to undertake the near impossible. The next up is America's return to the lunar environment. What we learned from that mission is going to help enable America's return to the lunar surface. When we arrive to the moon, we're there to stay.
Our mission calls for 4 names. It's difficult to pick just 4 from a group that by its very definition attracts the best and the brightest that humanity has to offer, as humanity looks to find its place among the stars.
My name's Norm Knight. I'm the Director of Flight Operations at NASA Johnson Space Center. Well, let me tell you a little bit about what Flight Operations does. You could think of us as a service provider to the major programs at NASA, both for low Earth orbit and for our exploration goals to Moon and Mars. We plan, we train, and we go execute and fly the missions. Assigning a crew for a mission is complicated. I'll tell you that. We look at our experience base and we say, all right, here's the mission, in this case, Artemis II, higher risk, being a test flight. So what complement of experience base do we want on this mission? With a test flight, we typically like pilots that have test flight experience, test pilots. In addition to that, you look for cohesiveness with a crew. We need mission specialists on board that are able to do a lot of the tasks. We go look at an experience base within the office and say who best can fit these needs. How can they work, or will they work together in an environment that's cohesive to aligning to the mission, and you end up with an experience base with those crew that then provide everything possible to guarantee mission success going forward.
As head of flight operations, I have the privilege of getting to know each and every astronaut. The best part of my job is that I'm surrounded by people who inspire, who give hope to those that might follow in their footsteps.
I want to thank you all for sharing in this moment today, and thanks to our crew, Reed, Victor, Christina, and Jeremy, as they get ready to embark on this journey.
It has been an amazing journey the last 2.5 years. We have just built a tremendous amount of trust between the four of us. This crew cohesion, we're at the point now where we are ready to go fly.
For us, Artemis II is about much more than just going back to the moon. It is about the pursuit of excellence.
If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And we are going together, and our mission success is built on handing off a starting point to Artemis III that sets our country and our partners up to go back to the surface of the moon.
Sending machinery around the moon, beautiful machines, is a challenge. Adding humans takes it a giant leap forward. And there is a lot of work that goes into integrating people into the system.
This is a very serious endeavor. This is absolutely a test flight. The last time we launched was more than 3 years ago. It did not have crew on it. It was not a completely like-for-like spacecraft on top of the SLS architecture.
We basically invented all of the training for the Orion spacecraft and the rockets and put it all together, and now we're in the middle of giving all of that information to the crew to prepare them for the launch.
For me, the heart of Artemis II are the individuals, the people that are on board that Orion capsule. They are going to represent us as humanity going out into space on this incredible journey. And to me, that's the real piece there, is the human element.
I'm Reed Wiseman, a NASA astronaut and commander of the Artemis II crew. I guess if I'm going to answer who I am, first and foremost, I'm a dad. I was a pilot in the Navy.
At this time, we encourage all guests here inside of the Space Vehicle Mock-Up Facility at NASA's Johnson Space Center to remain seated and have to stay within the confines of the building, as the President of the United States will soon speak with the crew of Expedition 75 aboard the International Space Station. And again, at this time, we encourage all of you to remain seated or in Building 9 and cannot depart, as the President will soon speak with the crew of Expedition 75 aboard the International Space Station.
Over his career, Wiseman has spent over 165 days in space. In the office, he was the chief astronaut, which is a very tough job. More on the personal side, he's just a great guy.
I grew up in a small town north of Baltimore, Maryland, known as Cockeysville or Hunt Valley. The first time I remember being interested in space, I was in elementary school. I was always into cars and trains and planes, and I distinctly remember before the first space shuttle flight, I think I was 5 years old, the 747 flew over with a shuttle on the back. I distinctly remember being on a hill near a mall with my mom and dad watching that thing fly over and all. I was a tiny kid. I graduated high school pretty young, and so I was small. I tried all the standard little kid sports. I tried soccer, I tried baseball. Those just did not fit with me. While I was at school, I decided that I wanted to be a Navy pilot. I joined the Navy in college through this thing called ROTC. And then when I graduated from college, that was my road into the Navy. Once I had that test pilot school block met, I knew that I had all the pieces to be an astronaut. I applied once, I got my rejection letter. It's still hanging up at home. I looked at it last night. I thought it was hand-signed. It wasn't hand-signed. And then in 2009, I applied again for my second time and luckily snuck into an interview round. And then I knew it was all up to me. And the dream was going to be set by me right there.
So are you enjoying your training?
Oh, it's awesome so far. Absolutely fantastic. Way better than I had imagined. Getting to accomplish a dream, getting to go out and seize that, you have to sometimes look back and just congratulate yourself. Just take a minute and say, man, you did the thing that you set out to do. What would I tell 8 or 9-year-old Reed? Hey, stay the course. You're doing great. Have some confidence, because I definitely didn't have a lot of confidence as a kid. So go out and have fun and try to do good every day.
While we're looking at everybody, if you'll find the lens, just go and look at the lens, everybody.
I want to thank God for this amazing opportunity, because Artemis II is more than a mission to the moon and back. It is the next step on the journey that gets humanity to Mars.
Victor Glover, he's a lieutenant commander in the United States Navy. He has more than 2,000 hours of flight time. He has his bachelor's degree in engineering.
Good day from Mission Control Houston at the Johnson Space Center. You're with us in the International Space Station Flight Control Room, where at this hour we are awaiting the arrival of the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, who is coming to Mission Control to be greeted by officials and flight controllers and to have an opportunity to talk to members of the Expedition 75 crew aboard the International Space Station. On a day in which a full moon rose overhead, the President just awarded the 4 astronauts of the Artemis II crew the Congressional Space Medal of Honor for their historic circumnavigation of the moon during the Artemis II mission back in April. We're in Flight Control Room 1 here in Mission Control, one floor down from the historic control room where we controlled humanity's first steps on the surface of the moon on July 20th, 1969. President Trump will be briefed on space station operations by Dana Weigel, the program manager for the Low Earth Orbit program, and will be greeted by Flight Director Pooja Jesrani, who's our Orbit 2 flight director on console today, before he spends a few minutes talking to Space Station Commander Jessica Meir of NASA and NASA crewmates Jack Hathaway and Anil Menon. Meir and Hathaway launched to the station on the SpaceX Dragon Freedom in February, Freedom being a fitting tie to the President's visit here today. Meir and Hathaway are in the final weeks of their planned 6-month mission. Menon launched to the station back in July for an 8-month mission. The flight control team here is part of operations that monitors the International Space Station and its crew 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, the operations that have presided over the space station since its first Element launch in November 1998, and the start of a continuous human presence since November 2000. This is the first time a sitting president will have called astronauts on the International Space Station from here in Mission Control, the third time a sitting president will have called astronauts in space from Mission Control. President Ronald Reagan did so during the STS-2 mission with Joe Engle and Dick Truly aboard the shuttle Columbia in 1981. President Bill Clinton talked to the astronauts aboard the shuttle Discovery during the STS-60 mission from Mission Control in 1994. So we are just moments away from the President of the United States entering the room for his greeting by officials here, and an opportunity to talk to the Expedition 75 crew aboard the
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we encourage you to remain seated or return to your seats as soon the President of the United States, inside of NASA Johnson Space Center's historic Mission Control, will speak with the crew of Expedition 75 aboard the International Space Station.
For situational awareness, the International Space Station is orbiting 260 miles above the Earth, flying from northwest to southeast in an orbit inclined 51.6 degrees to either side of the equator over the eastern Pacific Ocean. At the Flight Director Console with our Flight Director Pooja Jesrani is NASA Administrator Jared Isaacman, again just moments away from the arrival in the room of President Donald J. Trump.
And so what you're doing is
Station, this is Houston. Are you ready for the event?
Houston, this is Station. We are ready for the event.
Well, this is a great honor. To be with you is a great honor, and I just want to thank Jessica, Anil, Jack, great Americans, great patriots, brave people. I wouldn't do it. I will tell you right now. I hate to admit it. I would not want to do it. But some people love it more than anything, and you have amazing courage. And the job you've done, even to be selected, along with your fellow compatriots. You have some very good friends on board, too, from different places. And I don't know if they're hearing us, but just welcome them also. But I just want to congratulate you. And today, you know, we announced a very big thing because we're going to do a very special academy. And whether it's West Point, Annapolis, the Coast Guard Academy, if you look at the Air Force Academy, we're going to have an academy for what you people do. Everybody in this room would be excited. And it'll be at the same level. I said it has to be at the same level. If we're going to do it, it has to be at that very high level. Those are among the hardest schools to get into in the whole country. I would say almost at the top. And that's what we want. So we're going to set that up. And we'll remember this day for that. And I didn't realize it when I announced it. Nobody knew about it. And the room went sort of crazy. They liked it. But we just announced it, and you probably saw. So congratulations on that. Are you feeling well being all the way up there?
Well, first of all, that is very exciting news. We are thrilled to hear it. It's the first we've heard of it as well, and we want to welcome you on board the International Space Station. We and all of our colleagues are very thrilled to have you up here today. We're all doing very well. We've been in the middle of several spacewalks, and we're getting ready for another one next week.
That's very exciting, and I have a couple of people here that are very special to two people at least. And do you want to say hello? Come on over.
Hi, it's Anna. Great to see you guys up there. We love you guys. You're doing a great job.
Hi, babe. Have a good time up there. We'll see you soon.
It's not bad, right? How could I let them stand here and, you know, they want to say hello and you want to say hello. Who needs Trump? We want to say hello to them, right? It's an honor. This was a big day, and it's a big day actually for our country. And you have some tremendous plans. We have some tremendous plans ahead, and it's going to be something very special. I'm very proud of Space Force because I did that. It was during my term, and a lot of people didn't believe in it. A lot of people in the next administration wanted to end it, and frankly, the military put their foot down. The military absolutely put their foot down. They wouldn't let that happen. There was almost a revolt, and now it's a part of the whole thing. A lot of the victories, when you look at Venezuela, when you look at what we've done with the drug people coming in by boat and by land, frankly, that people don't know about so much. We get all that information from space and from what the people hear and what some others are doing. So it's incredible. Incredible how important it is, such a big deal. And it will get, with the high technology, it will get more and more with years. It'll get more and more important. So congratulations. You're really pioneers in a true sense. They're really pioneers, and Jared certainly is a pioneer. And when I came originally, I went to Florida and looked at the Kennedy Space Center, and it was closed. It was just closed. And the runway was grass strewn. It had grass throwing through the cracks, a lot of cracks and a lot of grass growing through. And now when you look at it, it's like a different world. We're back. But it was sad to watch that. It was very, very sad. Sad time for our country, actually. And I just congratulate everybody, and be careful, be safe, and we love you all. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And I would like to say, as a colonel in the Space Force, that I am very proud to serve in the largest domain imaginable. And last week, I got the great honor of doing a spacewalk and got to look at the space station from the robotic arm and saw the incredible ingenuity that we are capable of. And I'm just so proud and excited that we are going to pave the way to our next journey to the moon, moon base, and Mars. And thank you for propelling us in that direction. We are watching your plans right now come to fruition and grateful for your leadership during this time period. Thank you for coming today.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Would you like to say with that beautiful mustache? I want to get a mustache like that. Would you like to say something? Go ahead. Would you like to say?
Absolutely, sir. I appreciate it. Yeah, the mustache is a lot of fun. You definitely have to have one in space. It's great in microgravity. It's in the great tradition of naval aviation. And if you're going to start an academy, I graduated from the Naval Academy. I'm sure they're more than excited to support it and have it on board. And we're excited to be a part of the American space program. You're in MCC right now. Within 50, 100 feet of you are some of the finest minds that we have at NASA, and they're backed up by hundreds and thousands of more people at Johnson and Kennedy and all the centers around the country. America's leadership in the space program is incredible. We're excited about it. We're excited about going to the future, and our big team down at NASA is ready to execute and get Americans back on the surface of the moon.
Thank you very much, and we'll all see you when you get back, right? We're going to see them when they get back good and safe, and God bless you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We will continue doing our best to inspire all of the bright minds in the next generation as well. We are so excited about the energy that we feel and the energy that has been kicked off by the Artemis II crew. Thank you for honoring them today as well. We had the pleasure of speaking to them while we were up here on the International Space Station crew to crew, and it made us all incredibly connected and incredibly proud for what we have accomplished as a country and as an international program.
Great job. Very proud. We're going to see you when you get back. In fact, if you want, Oval Office time, right? It's going to be another Oval Office time. We have good luck with the Oval Office, right, Jared? So we'll see you in the Oval Office, okay? Thank you very much. Be safe. God bless you.
Thank you so much for your visit. We hope you have a wonderful stay in Houston.
This is Mission Control Houston. The President of the United States is now leaving the flight control room, having spoken with members of the Expedition 75 crew and signing a commemorative plaque, which basically lays the the groundwork and the foundation for Moon Base, which is the next significant project as we return to the moon and put boots on the moon on a permanent basis. That'll conclude the President's visit to Mission Control here in Houston. And we will wrap up our coverage here for the day. We hope you've enjoyed the coverage throughout the course of the morning and the early afternoon hours. And for now, this is Mission Control Houston.
1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2.
1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2.